sort of like sort of slice of life thing about people living in South Central Los Angeles, and there's obviously all those gangs and everything, all that stuff going on. And obviously, at the heart of it, you have a fantastic performance from Cuba Gooding Jr. And I just, I've never seen a performance this good from him in quite some time because I'm not the greatest Cuba Gooding Jr. fan. Fighting Temptation was okay. I mean, I think Beyonce was probably the best thing about that film. He was just kind of cheesy. I know the whole point of that film was it was a cheesy comedy, but it wasn't great. It wasn't memorable. Um, but I think this is a much better film. It's so much more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I don't know. It's just like sometimes I think you don't know how good a film is until you watch it, and I think that's definitely apparent here. Um, and just a fantastic performance also from Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix. It actually made me laugh kind of. There's a scene where he actually takes his glasses off, and it shows how Morpheus would take his glasses off. Yeah, so obviously you have that there, but you tried obviously nothing in The Matrix. Um, but there is a story to it, and it is sad, and it is provocative. It has that sort of provoking sense of it's got a story to tell, and it's it's just got layers of everything it can show. It's not shy to sort of like some films can sort of not really make up their mind what they want to do and sort of oh we've got this here but oh we're just gonna sort of keep it tight so we don't tell you anything that sort of they want the audience to recognize what's going on, and this film is just perfect in terms of doing that and encapsulating that there is a meaning and there is stuff going on, and just fantastic supporting cast. And Ice Cube is brilliant, and I'd never seen him in a movie before. You always think Ice Cube, and then you don't know what it's going to be like, but then he is brilliant, and I found the whole thing that it could have been just this sort of big shoot 'em up, gangs getting mowed down film, but it's not that, and it's so much more than that. It's a film that it shows the sort of the reality of living in the slums, and it's obviously not a particularly nice place, and all the sort of problems that come with it. And if you're expecting a big shoot 'em up kind of movie, then don't don't watch it. But if you are expecting the movie, I think you're just going to disappoint yourself, and you're just getting into something that's not needed because it's not a Friday night action movie with guns going off and people getting mowed down and all that. It's not that movie. It's a much more deeper intellectual movie, and I think for that it gets merit. And I certainly enjoyed it, and it just there's so much to like about this movie. It just I could go on for hours about how much I liked it and all the stuff that was going on and all that stuff. But obviously, I don't have hours to go on about it. Um, and just there's great characters in it. I mean, you just watch it and it's just you're just sucked into what's going on, and I love the fact that it goes from like one period of time to next period of time for most of the film. You get a sort of sense of what those kids were like when they're growing up, and you don't sort of feel like, oh well, here's what happened this time, and oh we don't give a shit now. Let's just show you what happened later on. It's not that kind of movie, and I think that's good because some films kind of try to do a thing of oh well, let's just show you this, and then we'll show you that, and then progress to that, and then you feel like there's no sort of in between. And you don't feel that in this, so that's a good thing. Um, and it's just there is some humor in it, which you wouldn't expect from a film that's so sort of quite depressing and got such like shock value and nasty things going on and stuff that would distress the viewer and stuff like that. Um, it just to me, I think what they were showing was this sort of harsh reality that the world is horrible in some places like this, and especially South Central Los Angeles. I mean, it's just horrible, and it's also showing the sort of hypocritical side of when he was young. He's sort of being, sort of like blossomed up, and sort of like the cops being nice to him, and sort of being all like, oh, how are you doing, and all that, being nice and false to his face because he's a kid, And then 7 years later, he sort of gets treated like his dad did, at the same situation, And I don't think it's, I mean, I never understood why when people watched the Django that there was this whole N word, craze and people getting angry and saying, oh, it's the N word. I think people just try to recognize something that's there, and then when they don't realize what else is there, they just sort of forget about all that stuff and they just get hated on one thing like that word being seen over and over again. In this film, obviously, this film doesn't have that word being used several times. I don't think it was. I don't think it was offensive in Django. I really don't. I didn't feel any sort of hate. It was just showing the reality, and here it is showing the reality. It's not used as much, but it definitely tries to sort of encapsulate their hateful feelings that people sort of bring across to those kinds of people, and it's not nice, and especially because it's kind of flip sided, where somebody who is black and a cop is saying it to someone like Cuba Gooding Jr. who is black, and that's not particularly pleasant. And I also think that there's a certain class side thing going on in the movie that Furious Styles, obviously Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s father is living still in the slums with his son, and it has been for the last 7 years. And then the wife, his Cuba Gooding Jr.'s mother, is sort of living in the upper class sort of thing of Los Angeles. Like there's like a shot of her like house, like inside the room, and you can tell that she's from a better class, and she's trying to sort of be there for her son, but she doesn't really want to go back to being like she was in that sort of area, and she wants to sort of have more to her, sort of, than she did before, if that makes sense. I think it does. Anyway, so, it's a great movie, and I really think people should check it out. I think it's definitely a lot better than it could have been. It's just that kind of movie that it does, like, not the most, like out there kind of things, like when there's like a film where there's loads of stuff going on and you're really trying to figure it all out. It's so subtle that I think it's great. That it does not as much as like say like Inception does, but that's completely different kind of movie. This does so little, but then it sort of brings out so much there to think about, and I think that's why it works. And that's why I like it. And I think more people should see that for what it is, and it shouldn't be, oh, it's sort of like that kind of movie, or it's going to be a hateful kind of movie, or I just no, I don't understand any of that. I mean, it is real what goes on out there. I think people sometimes just forget that and don't want to face it. And then if they watch a movie about it, then they feel like they're sort of being tortured into being said it like directly, and that shouldn't happen. So anyway, so definitely a clear 9 for me. It's just fantastic and just a great film. And I feel ashamed to say this. I don't even know what the director's done really, but he's great. He did a great job, and it's a great movie.